Hey guys, it's Steve. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great. I'm just waiting for Vince. I want to welcome you to the Ultimate Pickup Artist Convention Q&A call. Today we've got Vince Kelvin from seductioncoaching.com. I just want to remind everyone if you can make it out to LA, we're having the Ultimate Pickup Artist Convention this weekend. Hey Vince, how's it going? You there, Vince?
Good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Vince.
I'm just telling everybody that we've got the Ultimate Pickup Artist Convention coming this weekend, and if you guys can make it, I'm authorized to offer you a 10% discount. Just go to upuac.com/discount, and you guys can get a 10% off. So today, like I was saying, we got Vince Kelvin from seductioncoaching.com, and what we're going to talk about, first off, I'd like Vince to maybe introduce yourself, tell the guys if they don't know who you are, just a little bit about you, and we'll go from there.
Wow, yeah, I'll do my best to be fast because I've been at it for a very long time now. Initially, I did a lot of self-help work with Tony Robbins and all the gurus at the time, and then I started to work with Ross Jeffries for a period of time, and I really like to approach it as being a better man in all possible situations, and I think if we approach only the things that we want from a place of an ideal, we miss out. So I'm also here to help, not only like to get a girl, but get her back, keep her, what if you separate, and so on. But so that's it. I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to the conference, and thank you for having me, Steve.
No problem. And you got kind of introduced with Casanova Crew a while back, right? How did that end up coming about?
Oh, well, that's a really long time. I kind of witnessed the birth of it, and it was amazing. There's not been or not will be anything like Casanova Crew, the way they came together. But initially, Jared and I had gotten together and do like 2 hardcore weeks, and at the time, Casanova Crew was starting, and it was always nice to go speak for them. So.
Yeah, it's always good to hear guys that go hardcore for a while. I think that's kind of a thing that the guys that are good they do. Either whether it's for a week, 2 weeks, for a month, they just go hardcore out. And when they come out the other side, it's just amazing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take Q&As. It's probably be about an hour call. So what I'd like you to do, if you have a question, go ahead and push *2 to raise your hand, and then I will unmute you. Everyone's muted now. So if you got a question for Vince, question for me, go ahead and push *2, and that'll raise your hand. All right, here we go. From cell phone from Houston, Texas. Last 4 is 0357. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, I have a question about how do you open a girl when you are in the airplane? Like if she's sitting beside you, and like it's kind of awkward because everyone will hear, and if you if you make your voice really low, even people can hear you. So how you can open her, and Vince can give us any tips about this topic?
Well, would you forgive me? I got the first part. How do you open? But I didn't get the context after that. Something happened on the line. Would you repeat just when specifically?
Yes. How do you open a girl that's sitting beside you in the airplane? Like if you are in the airplane getting into your trip and a girl sitting beside you, how do you open her?
Oh, in an airplane. Well, here's something that's super simple, okay? So, in any situation, in traffic, everyday situation, which are all my favorite ones because there's a randomness to it that you can work with. But pay attention to what most guys would do and do the opposite. So we've all been, any man on the planet has been at some point either in an airplane or a bus, and suddenly a pretty girl is next to you. What would most guys do? They would get a little early excited. The guy would probably forget about his world and kind of obsess about what should I tell her. He would probably either wait too long to talk to her and it gets weird, or he would talk to her too soon and kind of insist. What other mistake would he make? He probably would want to be afraid that the conversation would die off, and he would not use time to his advantage because after a while he would probably become needy. And he probably would also be dependent on her, and he probably would wait too long to suggest hanging out. So you reverse the process then, okay? I like to do it backwards. For example, I do a lot of car pickup. I'm known for that because I live in LA, and I used to spend a lot of time in my car, and one day I said, why not when the opportunity is there? And it led to stuff. I even led to a marriage at some point. That's how crazy it is. But in the car, what will the guy do? He's probably going to overly stare to see if it's a girl. When he's going to realize she's pretty, he's going to look back at him. He's going to be next to her, and the girl's going to pull over. So how about we do the opposite? We know there's a pretty girl next to us, probably, or maybe not, and we're in our own thing, and then we casually turn and give a smile a few seconds into it. So in the airplane, first thing, I would start a conversation as soon as possible, but just at a practical social level, okay? Start a conversation as soon as you can. But don't turn it into a pickup necessarily. Just go, oh, wow, are you sitting there? And so to get her going. And then I would work it reverse. When most guys would be more inclined to want to talk again, I would give it a little break. And when most guys would be inclined to not say something, I would say something. And then I would use the trip to go, yeah, you're fun, Wow, I don't really live where we're going, but it'd be fun to at least be in touch and plant seeds all the way there. And never get overly attached, because I had one time when I was in an airplane and nothing happened with the girl that was sitting next to me, but when I went to the back and started to talk to a stewardess, something happened with her. Sorry, I give long answers, so I'll keep them short the next time, Steve. Sorry.
Can I let me throw my 2 cents in. Kind of a plane is kind of an awkward situation. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. So you definitely don't want to go direct because it's hard for her to get away. Like if the situation goes bad, you're direct. Oh, I think you're gorgeous. We should do this and that. She's got to sit 2 hours with you for the whole plane
Exactly.
ride. So what you do is kind of, it's kind of this is the only time I really endorse using indirect. You ask her what time the plane lands or what time is it, how many hours ahead is it, where you're going. And then you strike up the conversation. And while you're talking, having a very normal conversation, you would tease her, do the normal things like tease her, along with having a regular conversation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You just don't want to blow yourself out on that 2-hour plane ride. But you do want to create attraction with the teasing and challenging with whatever kind of cool little routines you have. Whether it's, analyzing her handwriting. I know that's old school, but that would really work on an airplane. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to put you on hold here. Anyone else have a question? Go ahead and press star 2. Anything came up during that little conversation, something sparking your mind? All right, we're going to Culver City, California. Last 4 is 8745. Go ahead and ask your question, man.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Vince.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Good. In keeping with questions about the day game and how to open, I know, Steve, you're big on day game. So, what are you guys' favorite openers for, places like a grocery store and gym? One time I really butchered an approach. I was trying to approach the girl by showing her how to do something correctly, and she thought I was a trainer. So she blew me off by saying she already has a trainer. So I guess that doesn't work.
Go ahead, Vince. I'll answer him after.
Okay. Well, I would say first and foremost in any aspect of communication, the basics. So when someone is engaged in a task, it's kind of annoying when we're being addressed. You've been in those shoes. So I like to acknowledge tasks. So if I go, hey, I know you're working out, or hey, I know you're working, or I know you're shopping, or hey, I know you're working, I know you're looking at something. I acknowledge tasks. Don't overdo it. Never do more or less than needed of anything. Okay? Then positioning is important because I've noticed something throughout the years of helping guys. I give you a day game scenario. Like, let's say we had a boot camp, and one guy, the girl was looking at a sandwich. So her experience was, I'm here, I'm getting some food, I'm looking at a sandwich. And then the guy was slightly behind her, and he started to talk in a way that was authentic. He said, like, oh, wow, sure looks good. And the girl looked over and go, yeah. And then she pulled forward. So I always recommend that whatever her experience is, you got to be a little further into it than her, even if you don't know or don't have interest. I'll give you an example. If you don't know your interest, we had another instance where we went to the art walk downtown, and they entered the students a gallery with exhibits. And one girl was looking at a painting. The guy had no interest in the painting, so he did it good because I trained him before. He went slightly ahead of her, really looked at the painting, and then over the shoulder he told her, is it me? Or the guy is super talented as an artist, but look how crappy his signature is. And then he said, but you're the expert. I noticed the way you were looking at this. So to make sure that you're more engaged into it than them, and also I like to tell them straight up, I could give you so many ideas. Lately, what I've been doing personally is the 30-second number close. Usually when I start to do things, or, Steve was one of the pioneers of direct in LA. I remember when I would hear Steve talk about direct, and most of us, we were still like not doing that, So sometimes you come up with a new idea and people go, oh, but this and that. But 30-second number close, a lot of guys will say, but that's not solid enough. Solidity depends sometimes on impact. So if you do something very unique, that's so memorable that a girl probably will tell her girlfriends, that's solid right there. And if on top of that you have something to look forward to together, that's even more solid. 30-second, I go, wow, not fair. And I'm very obvious with my arms, so she notices that somebody's addressing her from the distance. I go, not fair. I'm already late. I tap at an imaginary watch to spell it out, because she's not registered me before probably. I'm already late, and here you are, so cute. When you make people late, you got to at least say hello. And I shake the hand, and I go, seriously, and I bring the hand to the side, and I continue to very lightly hold the hand. And I go, I don't know you. This is kind of weird. I'm genuinely late. I think we should be in touch. Are you adventurous enough? And then I give her the phone. Now watch that she doesn't drop it, but, it's a sales technique. You put the product in the person's hand. It's harder for them to back out of it. Give her the phone. And then to get them to number close, I tell them, you enter it, because girls are compliment to women. Girls are usually better at that kind of stuff. And it's true. I mean, from all the PAs that I had, it's girls that did best. They would tweet at the speed of light. So that's my idea. I don't want to take too much time. And I pass it to Steve. Thank you, Steve.
No problem. Yeah, my thing is kind of going off what Vince said. Positioning to me is key, as well as timing. So I want to ask you a kind of a probing question. What would you think the best position to talk to a girl with, in, around, or outside of a club, a gym? What do you think the best spot would be?
Right when she's leaving, or she's about to get in, like she's already done her workout, or about to start.
Bingo. When she's leaving, and that's the best timing for me. I kind of consider gyms the same as coffee shops, because they're there to do something, whether it's workout or work or grab a coffee. But once they step out of that venue, not only are they not around anyone, but the reason that they were there in the first place is already gone. So it's a great place. It's a great time to strike up the conversation, extended conversation, get a phone number without anyone else seeing you. And that's big with women, is kind of the social pressure of her giving her number or her meeting a guy. You don't know who she knows in that venue either, who's in that club. She could have an ex-boyfriend that, I had a girl, first girl that I met and slept with in day game, she had a guy at the gym stalking her. And she went there all the time, so there's already people there that know her. So that could be a bit awkward. So in essence, that's my answer is when someone steps out of the venue when they're leaving, that's the best time for me. That's when I feel like talking. That's when I do talk to a girl. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So one little thing just to follow up on that. Say she's trying to leave before before you get a chance to talk to her? Like, do you interrupt your work? Like, how do you not make that look awkward? Like you're jumping on her or something. So.
Well, that's the thing. You can't. You're only looking at it as you're jumping on her. But think of a movie moment when a guy just. It's that whole thing that some guys say. If I didn't say hello, I'd kick myself. But make that true. Make that true. You know what I mean? She's leaving, and then damn, she's getting ready to leave. I better go talk to her right now. I just noticed you leaving. Call it out. I noticed you leaving. I was doing my workout. I just had to come say hello without you getting away from me, or else I'd kick myself the rest of the day.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
May I pitch in with a quick thing, Steve? I love what you're saying. It's priceless. And gentlemen, one thing that I've always loved about Steve is that he's always been so sharp ever since I knew him with his answer. It's like right on, But it's important to acknowledge what could be awkward, okay? Acknowledge anything that could be awkward. And when you acknowledge it, it's really going to make a big difference. Acknowledge and tease at the same time. So, for example, you go, hey, I know we don't even know each other. You're acknowledging that. Any reason they could have. And when women give you those reasons why they could not, instead of being pissed at them, collect them to feed them back to women like, oh, I got to get to know you, but say it like a real man with a sexy touch on it. I got to get to know you. You have such a strong effect on me. I mean, you know what? There's a reason. I walked all the way outside just so we could say hello. And watch also where you come from, because there's stages of growth. And you don't only develop your skills and your mindset, develop your persona also, how you carry yourself to the world and your expectation. At first, there's some guys who want to talk to girls at stores or at gyms and so on because they're desperate, because they don't have anybody else. They don't have girlfriends. So from that place, it doesn't come across as easily as then, well, you talk to girls because you're having a great day and you, you like to communicate with the world. But the ultimate level you reach is that you're not even doing pickup in a way where you truly appreciate women and you're having such a rich experience and you like to share it and you constantly share with the world, and then it hooks people. So just tips. Sorry again. I take long with answers.
No problem. One thing
with age.
One thing I want to add on to is what when Vince said about teasing. This is very powerful in day game. It's called universal fractionation. Sometimes you're doing your movie, your romantic movie moment, and the other time you're teasing her. So I would say you've got to do both when you're doing this. When you're doing day game, it happens all the time, where you're either giving a compliment and then you immediately tease her for something that maybe she's wearing crazy shoes. So you never want to be fully on in terms of all the compliments, kissing her butt. But you want to take it back with a tease or some kind of a challenge or something like that.
Thank you guys so much for answering that.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
So if you have any other questions, go ahead and press *2 to raise your hand. You got anything else you want to throw in, Vince? Anything you'd like to...
Yeah, I think that also, again, there are stages of growth, but if you want to accelerate your progress, 2 quick things. The first one is you want to know that, with a limited amount of skills, there's probably going to be situations where you cannot accelerate very fast. But with a greater mindset, you can do things. Every year we surprise ourselves, all of us, in noticing what we could do. It goes faster. So 2 things that I use a lot to speed up the process are role play and what I call reverse game. And role play is when you use humor to be able to be a little more graphic and a little more physical. And then reverse game is when you send them back on your way. You're the first one to voice the concerns. And those 2 make it very, very potent. And I like to alternate. I love what you were saying, Steve. And it'd be great to hear more on that, because if you stack something too much, it's lacking dynamic. So I love to constantly alternate. For example, be a little structured and then go natural, like right foot, left foot. Build
Yeah.
improvisation, and then run something you've known for years that works well and is entertaining, and to share that with her. And if you go really playful, outrageous, don't stack that. Go quickly back to grounding it. We all have different ways to refer to it, but like Steve was saying, that movie moment, and you're, hey, seriously, I don't really know you, but you're cool, and I think that it'd be good to at least be in touch. So that's all. And questions, be daring to ask questions, because to me, lack of questions always a reflection of a lack of action. Because even if we were one single beautiful woman, every day you will have many questions, because love, sex, and romance are still a big mystery. So and don't be afraid. There's no question that's not a good question.
Exactly. Okay, we got a question, but I just want to add real quick that referring back to what I said about universal fractionation, you don't want to be too playful. You don't want to be too serious. You don't want to be overly playful, overly joking, but you want to combine it. Let's say you want to be all the time in rapport. You want to tease. You don't want to tease all the time. You want to be in rapport. So you always go back and forth, in and out of that, or else it becomes too much. And too much of one thing is just not good. It's like eating candy or eating a whole bunch of chocolate. You eventually get sick. All right, so we got from Raleigh, North Carolina. Last four is 8172. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Kelvin.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, I wanted to ask you this. Once you become good at the game and you sort of kind of have your choice of woman, do you become less prone to want to have a long-term relationship or marriage?
Well, that's a good question.
Go ahead,
well,
Vince.
Speaking of universal fractionation, there's different seasons in life. And you'll notice that if you tend to have a lot of one, you'll have the appeal of the other one. Now, you don't only raise the option of quantity, but you also raise the option of quality. And to connect it with what Steve was saying, after a while, you become also a better manager of women, and you know what you want more. But you also need to find women that are more dimensional or know who you're dealing with. For example, there are girls, they are awesome to party. They are party girls. But if you ever try to do a long-term relationship with a party girl, good luck. There are women, they are very sweet. They would make a wonderful girlfriend. But after a while, they wear pajamas when you wish they would wear high heels that they used to wear when you met them, So look for women that have dimensions, okay? The four dimensions are they're entertaining, fun, and playful. They are alpha, but alpha doesn't mean manly. Alpha for a woman, they have a cause. They have something that they follow. They follow a structure with their life. And they are genuine. They are real. I love one criteria for me is always realness. And I just fell in love again so strong. That was one of my wishes this year. I've done so much craziness. I just fell in love. So my current reality is at 46, after years of breaking all those different world records. I was known as the king of makeouts. One year I had over 250 makeouts, harem building, porn star, and so. Last thing I expected, I fell in love like I'm 14. It's so strong. It's from head to toe, and it's both of us. And we recognize each other like we've known each other before. And people tell us, wow, you two look alike. And, so keep an open mind. And everything that came my way, personally, I noticed it was always better if I was following fulfillment. If I was operating based on obligation or what other people would tell me, it was limiting. Or if I was operating based on pressure also, it was limiting. And after a while, there's expectations on you from other people. But if I operate from what is fulfilling to me right now, and here also, that's ultimate mastery, guys. If it's been years or some time or months or weeks or even days, that may not be for you. But if you're starting to get pretty good at one point, you also want to detach, because ultimately everything passes in life. So you got to learn higher lessons. So you become less affected by things like jealousy, and you have healthier relationships. Because, before I dated porn stars, if one of my girls, I would find out she cheated on me, I would be devastated for months. Now I wouldn't like it, but I'd be like, I survived that. So it all becomes much richer, and you have more choices. But what you got to also embrace is being a man by yourself. Because the day you graduate from any fear, because too many guys we see, they're not really protector and lovers of women. What they want is a sexual relief and fill the void of loneliness. So if you can be by yourself as a man and really have a good time and go, yeah, it'd be great to have a girl right now, but it's great without. And then that helps you with day twos, Insta dates, polls, or whatever. Because the way I do them myself is it's a win-win no matter what. It's wonderful if she comes over, but it's wonderful if finally one night I can rest and maybe catch up with some business or some sleep. So I even had times when in the past the girl would tell me, oh, I'm coming. And then she would be calling me last minute, oh, you know what? They gave me one more paper at work. You don't mind if we push it back to 2 days? And in my mind, I'd be, hallelujah. And then she would call me and say, oh, change your plans. I really want to see you. And I'd be, oh. Okay? So I hope that's helpful. Still more philosophical, but okay.
And on my end, yeah, as you get better in game, you're less likely to settle. And that's how I look at it for settling for people that don't match or don't fulfill your needs and wants. But one thing you really have to do is figure out what it is in a woman that you want. What are the qualities? Because when that girl comes by, you'll really notice, and then you'll kind of realize what's going on. So you are attracted to that woman. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thanks.
Well,
I appreciate it.
What's going on in your life that makes you question that? What's happening?
Well, well, I mean, I got into the game a year ago using Brad Pitt systems, and I have to be honest with you, I got good to a certain degree, but I really didn't feel like getting into like relationships. And I'm getting older, and I feel Kelvin is right. I do feel a little pressure on settling down, but I also I don't know.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I'm 47, dude, and there's pressure for everybody says to me, well, why don't you settle down? Why aren't you having kids? And that's just not what I want. So you kind of have to realize what you want and not what everyone else wants. Kind of have to let that pressure go. You know, like Brad, the last call from Brad, you have to be assertive. Did you hear the last call?
No, I missed. I was at work.
Yeah, it was a great call. He was talking about how, you just need to be more assertive. You have to put your foot down and say, that's just not what I want. I don't accept that. But we'll get that replay up, and then you guys will be able to listen to it.
Can I pitch in for a second? I think that, part of also growing and making progress is the same way that you have that universal fascination. You want to go and add more complexity, meaning more distinctions and refinement. But if you only do that, after a while, everything is a fucking theory. And so you also want to bring it back down to essential, basic, super simple systems of navigation of one thing. At any given time, when you focus on something, you're either contracting, meaning closing in, what if I cannot, and so on, or you kind of neutral about it, or you're opening. So if you want to revolutionize your inner game, notice every time you start to go, any question you may have about women and what should I and depression, you go, wait a minute, I'm contracting. What you want to do is open so you can open women. And here's the big thing. In all honesty, gentlemen, let's be as honest as we can be. You see newbies that are so afraid of talking to a girl, they have approach anxiety. But then as it gets better, oftentimes we have a little bit of progress avoidance. One mistake a lot of guys make, they keep on trying to look outside of the real reason. And the real reason is super fucking simple. I was on a call with Tyler Durden, I think 2 years ago, and I loved all of his answers, and I was saying the same thing. Our answer was, how many girls did you talk to today? How many girls? Because you can stay home and wonder, am I going to please this and that? Am I getting too old? Some of that is okay, but there is nothing like taking the step. And you got to understand the learning curve. What seems impossible at first becomes so second nature. And if I had only seen myself, or Steve only had seen himself, but we've seen thousands of guys go through the process. And the most beautiful thing is to see them through the years. And you see the guy that looked all geeky at first, super well dressed. He's got good energy. A lot of clients from 5-6 years ago, I run into them. I go, fuck, I want to hang out with this guy. He's cool. He makes me laugh. I'm learning stuff around him and so on. Anyway, so I get excited about that stuff. But
yeah, that's the best part of being in it. You just see people improve. That's really why I'm in it. All right, dude. Answer your question. You straight on all that?
Yeah, let me ask you something else then. Uh, I've been doing some day game, but I haven't been really successful at it because I live in sort of like a small town, and everything is like really segregated. What are some of your favorite spots besides like the regular places that are well known, like besides the supermarket? Do you know any other places where I can like find good quality woman in the day game, and I don't have to like, you know, in abundance? And around what time of the day do you think is the best time to find this woman?
Go ahead, Vince.
Okay, you don't want to go, Steve? I just went, or?
No, go ahead. This is your call, dude.
Okay,
Your call.
okay. So, check this out. I think that if you want a different result in life, it's basic self-help. Sometimes you need a different approach, okay? So at first you got to watch out how you approach because you're probably operating from a lot of misconceptions, okay? If I was in your shoes right now, I wouldn't worry so much about what's available, okay? But I would really hustle with getting good at this really fast. And a lot of guys, they're aware of what to do, but there's a big difference between being aware of what to do and you could do it in your sleep. So it doesn't matter what approach you take, you're going to have to play with it, drill with it, with the knowingness, you're going to suck at it first. So don't assume anything too soon because as you grow, a lot of guys, they carry baggage. They still think, yeah, it's hard and so on. That should be out of your language, okay? And the second thing that you do is you start to count women. I used to get clickers from my guys at boot camps. You know, those little clickers that bouncers have outside of clubs. And click every time there's, maybe tomorrow every time there's an opportunity to be social. Men, women, and so on, be aware of weirdos and families, be respectful, but you click every time you could talk to a human being. And the day after that, every time you could talk to a woman, and the day after that, every time that you see women that you would like. You'd be surprised. Because a lot of guys, they don't even know the supply. Gurus, when we travel, we go to different cities, we violate every single possible rules. I mean, I've arrived places when I arrive with my pink hair and my look, they go like, oh, Vince, we're very happy you came to talk to our layer here in Vienna, but things are a little bit different here, and there's too many women, there's not enough women, and so on. If we listen to that, we fall in the same trap. If we go, yeah, maybe that's your reality, not in my reality, then all sorts of opportunity come around. And the final thing is, you got to watch out the role you assume when you study pickup. Because I see a lot of guys, the only role they assume is victim. Everything is always a problem. And you see those guys through time, but they carry the same story. You see them 3 months on the road at the lair meeting, and they go like, yeah, my problem is I have anxiety. It's like, how much longer are you going to play that role of the victim and advertise that? Then you have guys who go resolution, hard work, and go, yeah, I'm going to work on it. But it's always work. And that's not appealing. If we told a girl, look at this guy over there who's working on his pickup, she wouldn't be like, oh, right? So the better one is welcoming, being receptive. Because you know what? I was thinking about my parents, and I want you to think about your parents and their parents. Did they study pickup then? No, we're blessed because we have the edge. But at the same time, organically, people are supposed to meet. So all the bullshit we put in between, that's preventing that, okay? So for women to be more open, they will only be as open as you are open. And when you get more and more free and open and receptive, keyword, guys, receptivity, we never use that word. How receptive are you? If somebody come to you this morning and says, today you're going to meet a girl and it's going to go very well, would you go, all right? Or would you go, yeah, I wish, or yeah, but my problem is, or would you have any buts? For as long as you have buts, you are not receptive, and what awaits you is probably struggle and hard work and feeling like you're not getting there. The day you say, you know what, I welcome, and walk around every street corner with a detachment that you don't depend on meeting anyone because your life is yours and you're happy with your life, but at the same time, like she could be at the corner, you know, to have that readiness, and then they start to feel that. That's my answer.
Wow. Thanks.
Great. Well, let me ask you, what's the population in your city or town or wherever you live?
Well, I'm in Raleigh. I'm from Raleigh, but it's like, it's a city called Cary, and a lot of old people live in, and there's some artists too. I mean, it's a mixture of everything, but it feels like more like I don't know.
Is it
sometimes
Is it a suburb of Raleigh?
Yeah, like a suburb. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So you can't. Well, I guess my thing is just get out of that area. I mean, if you can go to a more populated area that's a little bit of a drive. We head up to. I'm in L.A. almost every weekend because the place where I live now is full of married women. Yeah, they're stragglers, but I mean, I moved right across the street from the mall, hopeful to just day game, and it ended up being not a good location because there were so many families and married women. So I have to drive to LA, and consequently I'm moving. So that's the other option is just to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that an option? Is moving?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, I was thinking about it. That I'm starting right now, but I was definitely thinking of moving somewhere else. Cause
Well, it's definitely best to move and start, be in a more populated area because you got so much you can just go through stuff. And when you got it down, you can move back because you're good enough that you're not blowing through sets or whatever, however you want to call it. You know what I mean?
all right. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions, but I wanted to ask you this. I mean, this is my last question. For Kelvin and you, Steve. I lost my parents early in my life, and sometimes I have all these like negative thoughts that come when I approach certain women. Do I need to see a therapist for this? Because
What kind of negative thoughts?
like okay, like for example, I'm talking to this girl at work, right, and everything is going well, and I went a few times, and somehow I always get this thought that if I get close to them, and then I just want to like pull away from them. I don't want to get too close to me. I don't know, like
Yeah.
maybe yeah, I don't know.
Well, I would say
Um,
you have a like a emotional reaction to losing someone. I would say yeah. I mean, it's best. Vince probably know more than me, but I think Vince, you were in the NLP for a while, right? You probably would know more
Yeah.
about who to talk to than me.
Yeah. I would say first, never know that again. Before I talked about progress avoided, it's almost like an addiction. So watch it because all of us we could easily find a reason. Yeah, you're gonna experience fear when you first start something new, but that fear is not there to stop you, nor to traumatize you, and you can work with it and you can reduce it and you can act despite of it. Now, I would not, I would watch out. I used to help ladies in my early days. I did a lot of self-help work, and I helped those ladies who had a very unique form of illness. And one day I was with one of them, and suddenly she goes like, I have, we heard somebody's name, and she forgot that person's name. And I forgot the person's name too, and I didn't have that illness. But because apparently part of the illness was memory loss, she linked everything to the illness. When me, I just said, oh, I forgot their name. So watch that you don't overly emphasize it. I would say for something like that, determine to resolve, to not use it to complain. And some of the faster support, maybe a life coach or a hypnotherapist and so on. I help guys with stuff like that. And yeah, but you probably have a little fear of abandonment. Most of what directs us at a psychological level is based on what we think will lead to pain or pleasure, and the greater one overrules. Okay, if the guy's at the gym and he wants the pleasure to be more fit than ever before, but it's really painful, his pleasure will overrule, so he's gonna go. So for you, you probably have a little sense of like if you love and you're surrounded and you have something. But we don't know. I don't want to assume that. But if it was the case, I would keep it simple and I would just do affirmations too and say I'm more and more free from that. I give myself the permission to be able to be loved or appreciated and connect with people. And I am independent of the results. And you'll do a little work on that, listening to recordings at night, any good inner game support. Okay? And guys, in general, I was thinking also with the question that was there before with the small town thing. One thing that I've been doing a lot, which is very authentic, is to milk whatever used to be a problem or a concern. For example, I give you the extreme opposite. Here we're in Hollywood, California, and if you walk Hollywood Boulevard on a Saturday evening, because there's some pretty hardcore guys that are super aggressive, but the wrong way. You know, it's not uncommon for like a bunch of drunk guys to have a girl pass by and go, "Eh." Those girls, for a couple blocks, are some of the most like locked in girls because they don't want to have to deal with that. And for years it bothered me, and we tried everything. Once we passed by, we'd whistle, and we had everybody dance. It worked. But what I've been doing lately, I just make their concern be the topic. I go, girls, crazy night. No, I'm just, how are you managing with all the crazy dudes around? I go, ladies, I come in peace. I just want to tell you, lovely outfits. And I make that be the topic. What about crazy guys? So for you, you should make that the topic, how it's not easy to meet people in that town. And also, watch out. Don't assume. Last year, one guy calls me from Huntsville, Alabama. And he says, oh, there's no one here and so on. 2 weeks go by, another guy. And he said, Alabama. I didn't realize right away. Same city. By now, there's 7 guys running a lair in Huntsville, Alabama, and they all complained that no one was there. So you don't know. And Raleigh also, you know, there's a guy who's in the community who has a big lair in Raleigh. So if you're unaware of it, Google the Raleigh lair. I think it's a mutual friend of Steve and I. So, but I don't want to pitch. But there's a big lair in Raleigh. So.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on hold again. If you think of another question, we might have time for it. But let me go ahead and see if anyone else has a question. All right. So if you just joined, or if you thought of a question, go ahead and push *2 on your phone, and we can take a couple more questions. We got about 15 minutes left. And we got last 4 is 0802. Go ahead and with your question, man.
Yes. How would you recommend finding out if a girl has bisexual tendencies and would be open to a menage in the future?
That's easy. You just start to point out other girls. And you start simple if you're in doubt with pointing out outfits, and then pointing out how they wear their outfits, and then pointing out body shape. And after a while, you start to recognize them. And with everything that you get used to, after a while, it follows you. Me, it's like sometimes it's a relief when I come across someone that's not. But yeah, it's really simple. Now, what you got to be careful is that when you're going to deal with the feminine. Oh, forgive me. Steve, can you take over? I got a delivery for food coming over, and they're downstairs trying to reach me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say I'm not really the person to ask about on this question because I have yet to have, that happen to me, but not for lack of not trying. And I'm willing to admit that because that is one of my top bucket list items. Seriously.
One of the things I heard somewhere was that I always ask girls, how old were you when you realized you were bisexual? This is a joke, and see how they answer the question.
How did that go?
It's a fun thing to do. Sometimes I get, 1987, and I figure out, well, that's the year they were born, Other ones say 6 years old or college, But I have this particular girl that I really like, and we've been, getting together, and it's a little different to bring it up after you've been in a relationship for a little while.
Yeah, that's the thing. You definitely, and that's this is one thing that I know for sure. You have to kind of bring it up in advance. Whether it's along the lines of your question is like how old were you when you first kissed a woman, or I only date bisexual women. That's another one a lot of people use.
Yeah, Steve P. I think was the one who promoted that a long time ago.
Right.
Is that you should bring it up right? I only date bisexual women, but
you got to.
I always used to bring it up, just as a matter of just joking around and flirting. But, I got in this relationship, and now it's like, I like Vince's thing is just start commenting about different girls and see how she reacts to it.
You back, Vince?
I am back, and give me just a sec. Okay. Yeah, I am back. But the other thing that you got to understand is also it's a wide world. Meaning, from a girl who's hardcore lesbian, there's so many different flavors. So get acquainted with them, different types, and then you got to know also the right way to do it, because what appeals to men about it is not what appeals to women about it. So watch out, because a lot of guys, they go like, oh yeah, let me get two girls, so you have to work it. The better thing, if you want a shortcut, go to this is good. Sorry. The better thing to do is go to a gathering. They're in every major city of like bi girls or lesbians, and start to befriend them. And that's the shortcut. I mean, I used to do like Sunday at Project Hollywood. I used to organize the Sunday lesbian nail and tea party. So we would have tea, paint nails, and that's it. Because if you want to take a sweet girl through it, it may not be for her, So that's the shortcut. Like
right.
attracts like.
Nice.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else have a question? Push *2 on your phone, and we can take probably one more question, and then we're going to wrap it up. Anybody out there? *2 on your phone. All right, Vince, I think we pretty much covered it. Why don't you give people an idea what you're going to teach at the convention coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I'm being distracted by my lovely new wife. Highly distracting. Sorry. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this convention this weekend. There's nothing like being exposed, the energy, the gathering of people, and you stretch in all directions. I like to hear as much as possible of it myself, because then you are. I'm sorry, I'm doing the deliver at the same time. But yeah, on my side, here's what I'm gonna offer. I'm known for like making it happen as fast as possible. But here's the cutting edge now. Because yeah, you can make it happen fast the way that may create an imbalance in your life. But now it's all about quality, so if you are working and so on, so you can expedite the process. So, and I would, if you're not signed up yet, be the man who shows up, be the man who goes. We all paid our dues. I mean, the distance I went myself to really get my life and my stuff together, and willing to still do it, would be I put all my money to go to see Tony Robbins in Australia. So that's the thing. The guy who shows up for that kind of stuff saves you so much time. That's all.
Gotcha. All right, sounds good. And guys, if you can make it to LA this weekend, you want a 10% discount, go to upuac.com/discount. It's short for Ultimate Pickup Artist Convention. So upuac.com/discount, and we will have Arash on in about an hour and 10 minutes. That should be a really good call as well. So I'm going to sign off for now, and you can say goodbye, Vince.
Goodbye, guys. Thanks for calling in. Thank you, Steve, for putting this together. Looking forward to see you next weekend.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, and I will see you next weekend. And guys, see you in about an hour and 10 minutes. If you want to hear Arash, get those questions answered, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.